Welcome back to the 5% Club. I'm Shayla King, a former C-suite executive turned business and life coach. And this is the podcast for leaders who want it all. The promotions, the paychecks, and luxurious amounts of time for the things that matter most. Each week, I'm going to teach you from my performance and happiness formula what it takes to rise to the top without burnout and overwhelm. Work less, make more, and design a life you love. That's what we do in the 5% Club. Let's go. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the 5% Club. I'm Shayla King, your favorite belief and decision coach. Today, we're talking about a decision I hear constantly lately. Should I stay where it's comfy or should I go for it? And I want to start with something that I believe about women. I think we hear a whisper. A quiet knowing, a little tug, a calling. And it usually sounds like, there's more for me than this. I didn't come this far just to come this far. And not more in a greedy way, more in a truth way. The whole world will tell us that our ambition is dirty or bad or wrong, and that we should just be happy with a good enough life. You have more than most women. Why can't you just be happy? You got a promotion last year. Why isn't that enough? Why can't just being a mom and a wife be enough for you? Listen, there is no place for that shame and guilt. If we follow the world's expectations, we end up exhausted, overwhelmed, and depleted. That's not how we do it in the 5% Club. We are meant to have that calling. We are meant for more. There's nothing wrong about wanting it. And so in the 5% Club, we have a saying, I'm grateful and I want more. I'm grateful and I want more. And it's so beautiful when you can own that fully without worrying what anyone else thinks about it. I often think about the women who came before us as well and everything they've done to give us these opportunities we have today. And I'm not going to squander it with mediocrity. I'm not going to squander it by saying, I pushed hard for a while and then I said that's enough. Then I'm going to just coast. And so there is the ability to love your whole damn life and still want to expand it. I actually think we were built for this. You can be thankful and still be called forward. So if you've been hearing that whisper, I want you to listen because that whisper is information. And a quick heads up before we go deeper, Consult Week is open right now. I only do this a couple of times a year. I open up my entire schedule, first come, first serve, and the spots go quick. But if you're already nodding like, yeah, I've been hearing that whisper, then I want you to go apply at shaylaking.com and you'll get a free session with me where we can dive deeper into your own personal whisper and decide if you're ready to do something about it. But let's get into it. On this podcast episode, I am going to explain to you where that whisper comes from and talk about the different ways it can show up and what we actually want to do or not do about it. And I'm going to give you a tool and a framework so that you can create your own decision. Let's go. First of all, it's not always about leaving your company. I'll frame it up some ways as we talk today, but this episode isn't just about switching companies. Sometimes that whisper is telling you you're ready for a new role or a bigger project at the company you already work for. Sometimes it's not even about work. The whisper is telling you it's time. You're ready to exit a bad relationship. You're ready to set boundaries. You're ready to get your time back. You're ready to focus on your health. And you're ready to feel alive again. So sometimes the whisper is just telling you that you're ready to stop living in someday and you're ready to become the woman or the person, the leader that you know you can be. So as you listen, keep asking yourself, what is my whisper telling me that I'm ready for? All right, let's get into why it's hard. This is what I call the comfy versus called tug of war. Now, I know what happens next. You're thinking about doing something cool and new, but your survival brain immediately says, but it's comfy here. I've worked for a really long time and now it's easy. Plus, change is like scary. Takes a lot of energy. And what if it's worse? And I have the best friends here. I don't want to leave my friends. And listen, that's real. There are people you love. There's familiarity and there's safety in knowing exactly how to win where you are. But you have to be honest. Comfy isn't the same thing as aligned. Comfy isn't the same thing as safe. Comfy is familiar. Safe is values intact, health intact, home intact. Align is becoming more of who you are. And if you've been feeling that itch, that restlessness, that low grade resentment, that's not you being ungrateful. That's you being called forward. Let me explain what's happening under the surface. The behavioral science will help you understand where you are in the process. Human beings change for one reason: when the discomfort of staying the same becomes bigger than your fear of the discomfort of change. That's it. Your brain is weighing two discomforts: the discomfort of staying versus the discomfort of change. Because change is scary, and your survival brain is going to offer you 1,000 reasons not to go for it. Your survival brain only has three jobs, and this is what's running most of the time for you. And its three jobs are: first, to seek pleasure; second, to eliminate pain; and third, to conserve energy. And you're telling it, I want you to go expend a lot of energy so I can go through the discomfort of change, and I can't guarantee success? Oh, hell no. Your brain is going to give you every reason why you should stay right where you are. And that's because your survival brain is designed for you to survive. And it knows you're safe where you're at. You are physically and emotionally safe in the comfort of what you have. So you actually have to talk to your brain and realize what it's doing and that it's trying to protect you. So Ludwig von Mises talks about the human action model, and there's 3 steps to that. So the first is, this is how all humans change, okay? The first is discomfort with the current state. So you have to be uncomfortable in your current state. The second is having a vision for the future. And the third is believing that vision is possible for you. So you need to have those different steps. And a lot of clients come to me and they say, I am uncomfortable where I'm at, but I'm not sure if this is the right time to make the decision. Because everyone in my life is telling me I should just be grateful for a good enough life. And I do get to get off in time to pick my kids up from school. And so that's nice. Yeah, I got to log back in at night and I work on the weekend sometimes and I'm always thinking about work. But I do know my boss. I know what he expects out of me, and I kind of know how to play the game. And honestly, my job's not that hard, and I'm pretty good at it. And so I could just keep, phoning it in until my kids are 18. Um, and why can't I just be happy with that? Couldn't that work? That's the conversation we're having. And it's because your brain is offering you, I don't want change. Don't go waste our energy, especially if it might cause pain. So if you go back to the human action model, uncomfortable with the current state, the whisper means you're uncomfortable. It means you're inkling for more because you know you were built for it. So all you have to do is to say, am I uncomfortable? Do I see a vision for something better? And let me tell you, my friends, it is out there. I have done it for myself. I have done it for my clients. And you can have an extraordinary career, one where you feel aligned with what you're working on, you feel challenged, you're adding an immense amount of value, and you're getting paid for it. And you can love your whole damn life. And that means not being exhausted in the evenings. That means not coming home and giving the scraps to your family. That means actually remembering who the hell you are and having time and energy for your own health, for your own friends, for your own activities. It is possible. I know it because I am it. And I know it because I've helped hundreds of other leaders and women do it as well. So remember, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to have a vision for the future and you have to believe it's possible for you. And so if you don't believe it yet, what I want you to know is that you can borrow my belief until you do. So as you're going through that process, your survival brain is going to offer you 1,000 reasons not to go for it. It'll hand you responsible sounding thoughts like, now isn't the right time for me. I should be grateful. What if I fail? What if I regret it? What if the next situation's worse? That's your survival brain doing its job. It wants familiar. It wants predictable. It wants you to stay alive and not grow. But here's the thing. Growth always feels unsafe at first, even when it's the exact thing you're meant for. So the question becomes, how uncomfortable are you with your current state? Because if you're only a little uncomfortable, you'll stay. If you're deeply uncomfortable, you'll finally move. And your thoughts and your evaluation is what will determine that. You get to choose thoughts that make you feel uncomfortable, so you'll do the damn thing. Or you can choose thoughts that allow you to settle. And my friend, what I want for you is I want you to like your reasons, to be intellectually honest and to like your reasons. So what I want you to hear is that you do not have to wait until you're miserable. That's not leadership. That's self-abandonment. Let's reframe change for a second. Yes, change can be scary, but change can also be fun, exhilarating, the good kind of hard. For years, my life was so hard. I was a global business leader, a single mom. I had 4 autoimmune diseases. And so for a while, all I wanted was easy. I used to watch the tiny home shows and think that if I could just get a tiny home and like everything would be easier. And I want nothing on my schedule and I don't want to work and I just want to have a freaking break. And then I realized breaks are boring. I mean, you can have a break from the chaos. You can have regular little intermittent breaks, but easy is boring. And hard is not always bad. You can choose a good type of hard. And here's what I mean by that. So before, life was chaotic, and I was that hot mess mom I've talked about before. And my life was always in proving mode and kind of desperate energy mode. And I was the definition of like hustle until you die kind of mentality. Now I'm choosing a different type of hard. It's not a hard in which I overwork my calendar. It's not a hard in which I sacrifice myself at all. I have luxurious amounts of time for my health and my happiness. But it's the kind of hard where I don't choose easy. I consistently put myself in situations in my business where I have to learn and put myself out there, learn really new things that I've never done before, deal with emotional issues like, what if I fail? What if I'm embarrassed? What if I make a huge mistake? What if I feel shame? And being able to put yourself out there. What if I have to be new again? I've never done this. It's so embarrassing. That's the good kind of hard, y'all. That's the kind of hard where we're actually asking for it. We're in charge of our hard. We're saying, I am going to put myself out there. I am going to go to a new company. I am going to go into a new field. I am going to face rejection. And I'm going to grow from it. I'm going to find out what I'm made of from it. It's the good kind of hard, the kind that makes you proud, the kind that I'm in control of because I'm doing it intentionally to myself. Because easy and letting go and being complacent gets really boring. We are meant to challenge ourselves, but let's not challenge ourselves with chaos and exhaustion. Let's not challenge ourselves with how many plates can we keep spinning at this organization that doesn't value us. Let's not keep challenging ourselves with trying to be the PTO mom and win the leadership award at work and be the best kind of spouse and all these unrealistic expectations while not sleeping and not taking care of our health and not taking care of our bodies. That's a bad kind of hard. That's a kind of hard that's happening to you. I'm asking you to consider stepping out of that hard and intentionally designing in the kind of hard that puts you in a place to see what you're made out of, to blow your own damn mind with who you can become and what's possible in this one and only life we have. The kind of hard that makes you feel alive again. Some of you aren't depressed, you're under challenged, you've outgrown your environment, and your nervous system knows it. Complacency is not for 5%ers. All right, let's go to the tool. I made this tool for you. It's called Should I Stay or Should I Go? The Leadership Decision Tool. And you can download it for free at shaylaking.com, SHAYLAKING.com. So you can print it off, do it with a pen, give yourself 10 real minutes and tell the truth. I'm going to walk you through the scorecard right now. Rate these 4 categories from 1 to 10. First, growth. Am I stretching or coasting? Second, respect. Do I respect leadership and how decisions get made here? Third, energy. Is this sustainable for my body and my home life? And fourth, future. Does this role build the next 12 to 24 months that I want? You'll score each one of those categories in 1 to 10, and then I want you to really reflect on your answers. Now, here's how to interpret it. If your respect score is low, there's a confidence leak. If your energy score is low, that's not ambition, that's a warning light. And if your growth and future scores are low, you're in a holding pattern. Holding patterns can be okay for a season if they're intentional and you like your reasons. But be honest, is it a season or is it your new normal? Are you intentionally deciding to coast so you can get through something else in your personal life? Sometimes people have major medical issues with a family member. And so they're saying, I'm not changing anything. I'm going to coast in this easy job while I help my husband or my mom through this diagnosis. Beautiful. You know why you're doing it and it's for a reason. Or have you let your excuses talk you into, oh, it's just a season until my kids get older? But actually, there's no end in sight. And waiting until they're 18 is not a fix. So ask yourself the truth behind that and ask yourself when you look at your organization, if you are still in your role or whichever part of your life that you're having that whisper come in. If nothing has changed and it's a year from now, tell me how you feel. Is it great? You had a wonderful year and you felt great? Or do you feel like, ugh, I was really in a holding pattern and I wish I would have done more with my life? Now, here are the questions that go straight for the heart. Would I be, just answer these quickly, don't overthink. Would I be excited to reapply for this role right now? If it's a year from now and I'm still here, how do I feel? What would make me most proud a year from now? Am I staying because it's aligned or because it's familiar? And a very loving reminder that I want you to hear today is what you aren't changing, you are choosing. I want to say this again, make sure everybody in the back heard. What you aren't changing, you are choosing. So if you stay, choose it. If you go, choose it. But don't drift. Don't let life happen to you. Get in that driver's seat and love your reasons. All of these questions and the full tool are available for you at shaylaking.com. And by the way, if you're doing this scorecard and you already feeling that pit in your stomach, like, oh, wow, I know it's true. This is exactly what Consult Week is for. We'll take what you just uncovered and turn it into a real plan. First come, first serve, and the spots go quick. So grab yours at shaylaking.com, SHAYLAKING.com. I'm going to say this with love. There's a version of you that would love to blow your own damn mind. But she doesn't come from comfort. She comes from courage. She comes from deciding, drawing a line in the sand that it is your time, that you are worth investing in. That's how you find out what you're made of. And I'm telling you to stop lying to yourself today. And if you want more, admit it. If you're done, admit it. Truth is power. And remember, 5%ers say, I'm grateful and I want more. One of the things that has motivated me most with this is a little PS, is that my kids are watching what I normalize. Not what I tell them, but what I normalize by how I live my own life. They're watching how I handle stress. They're watching how I talk about work. They're watching if I have moments that I'm able to tell them about how I was scared and I was courageous and how proud I am for coming out the other side. They watch how I rest. They watch how I bet on myself. And if your kid lived your exact life when they turned 40, would you be proud or would you feel worried? And even if you don't have kids, same question. If someone you loved was living this life, would you be like, damn, it's an exciting one? Or would you feel a little sad for them? Is it time for you to be proud that you listened to that whisper? It is Consult Week, y'all. So this is exciting. I do it twice a year where I open up my calendar for the entire week. You get to come have a session with me for free. And we go through whatever your biggest problem is or area you want to up level in your life. I will help you understand why it's happening, what you can do to solve it, and you'll get real momentum just during that call. And you can decide whether you want to work with me or not. I only have 2 spots open. I'll probably have 10 to 20 sessions. So not everybody will be able to get in. So there's no pressure either. I want to just be able to help as many people as I can during Consult Week. So you're going to get scheduled right away. You can go to shaylaking.com and you'll see the banner to get scheduled and jump on that ASAP before the spots are gone. Thanks for joining me in the 5% Club today. If you're ready to make more, work less, and design a life you love, then go to shaylaking.com and join the waitlist. You'll be the first to know when there's openings to work with me in one-on-one coaching or the Performance and Happiness Lab, my group container where you will learn to be a high-performing, highly paid executive who loves your whole life. I'll see you there.